This is the Distinctly Detroit podcast, the only pod that explores why one wants to be in the D. I am your host, Fyodor III, the director of the University of Michigan Detroit Center. Join me as I interview students, scholars, leaders, and innovators about living, working, and loving in Detroit. Welcome back, everyone. This is the Distinctly Detroit podcast. On today's episode, we have a modern Renaissance man. He is a graduate of the University of Michigan and a former captain of the men's basketball team. He is the co-founder and board member of the David Merritt nonprofit organization. He is also part owner of the Narrow Way Cafe and Shop. When he is not managing businesses or attending board meetings for his nonprofit, he is serving as an associate pastor with the Straight Gate International Church and being a father and husband to his beautiful family. The DDP welcomes the accomplished David Merritt. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Looks a little different in here since the last time I was in here.
Oh yeah, we were physically relocated on the other side of the building. We moved over here in May of 2019.
Yeah,
just in time to get shut down by COVID. So it's been awesome.
Yeah,
we like it over here. It's a lot different. But welcome back, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So one thing, doing the research on you, something I found is that you're associate pastor at Straight Gate Church, where your parents just so happen to be the founders.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, what's it like working for your parents?
It's amazing. Growing up, I was trying to not be anything near what they were. Felt it was kind of, what's the right word? It just wasn't right that just because they were pastors, like I had to be a pastor. So I wasn't trying to be a pastor, but I kind of knew very early on that that's what I was supposed to do. Okay. So when I finally submitted and said yes, it's been, started ministering in 2010. So it's been about 13 years.
Okay.
Life hasn't been the same. It's been amazing to be able to continue their vision and just do whatever we can possible to make sure that their legacy doesn't die.
Okay. So you grew up in the church.
Yeah.
How did that contribute to the man you are today?
It's everything. I've been able to watch my parents dedicate their entire lives to the well-being of other people. Growing up, I had peers and friends where I quickly saw that what I was receiving as a young child was much different than what others were receiving, or things that I never even had to think 1 second about. That was their daily existence. And so I realized that very early on and saw that gap. And just watching my parents operate and how important serving is to them and, dedicating your life to the well-being of other people. That's something that I also wanted to emulate. And because I'm so blessed, I think it would be harmful and irresponsible of me to not want to share that with other people.
Okay. So you're also an athlete.
An athlete.
Well, once an athlete, always an athlete. You're looking good right now.
Was an athlete.
You don't ball at all? You don't even go to the rec league anymore? So you were an athlete.
I was.
How did your faith play into you being an athlete? How did you utilize your faith to or channel your faith in your athletic endeavors?
It was critical because you can't tell I'm sitting here, I guess, but I'm not the tallest of people. And wasn't the most athletic, but I love basketball and worked really, really hard. And my main goal was to be a Division I athlete like that. Mm-hmm. Said that in the 9th grade. And so worked really, really, really hard on it, but didn't get any Division I offers. And so I went to Michigan, great school. But I primarily went to Michigan to make the basketball team. Like that was my goal. And so even though I'm in class trying to be a really good student in the CCRB and the IM building every single day, trying to make that a reality. It took me 3 years to make it. And I would say, especially that last time I didn't make it, going into my junior year, I wanted to quit because I had worked, 6 years on a daily basis trying to make this thing a reality. And I felt I deserved to be on that team. Like I felt I had done everything. I was going to open gyms in the summer. I was meeting the coaches. I had relationships with the players, and I had a really good tryout, like a no doubt tryout. And at that point, it was literally, just trusting in God to say, hey, let's give it one more go. And fortunately, I listened and gave it one more go, and was able to make the team and have an experience that I'll be able to tell my kids about.
Okay. So you went from walk on to team captain. I mean,
Yeah.
that had to be a heck of a payoff for all your perseverance. I mean, how did you manage to become team captain? What did they see in you, or how did they recognize you to elevate you to captain?
I know we're like so far removed, but I'm sure some of our listeners will remember CJ Lee, who was my fellow captain. And I tell this story quite often, but that's who I really learned leadership from. Okay. And so he also was a walk-on my first year on the team. He transferred from Manhattan, so he couldn't play at all. Like, he was transferring, he had to sit out a year. And he was the most annoying. He was so annoying. Like, every single day, he's like trying to motivate the guys and let's go and diving on the floor and doing all these things. And I played hard, but I'm just like, CJ, like, shut up. Like,
practice?
Like,
he was playing hard in practice?
He was doing everything. Like, even before the game, he knows he can't play in the game, but he's just talking and so once I got an opportunity with our last year, it was like, okay, coach was like, I need leadership from you. And I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do what CJ did. And so we both were annoying. We both were I gave 35 pregame speeches that year. It was like, what can we do as not so good players to make a positive impact on the team? And so we both averaged like 2 points per game, but I do think we did make an imprint as it relates to making sure the team was ready, making sure we had the right mindset, making sure that we were giving our all on a daily basis.
You all made the NCAA tournament your senior year, right?
We did.
What was that experience like?
Lost to Blake Griffin in the second round, but we won a game. It was the first time Michigan had made the tournament for 11 years. We were 10-22 the year before. So won 21 games after losing 10 the previous year. So my sports and basketball experience sticks with me on a daily basis today, way more than anything I learned in the classroom. Like, I lean upon my Michigan basketball experience to this day on a daily basis.
Okay. So that just, and I, sometimes I have scripted questions, but I change as I go. Yeah. But I'm thinking, as a former player, and because you played under Beeline.
Mm-hmm. One year Amaker, 2 under Beeline.
Okay. So as changes, do you have any relationship with the current administration or team? Do you can you just show up to practice and Juwan just let you in?
Probably not at this point. Okay. I don't have the relationship with Juwan. I still talk to Coach Beeline to this day. Still a few people that are there that have some connection to, but I just wouldn't walk up in there.
Okay. Yeah. You'd call first, maybe.
Yeah, I would call.
Okay. I'm just wondering, how does that, I'm curious as to how the relationships evolve, because, your partner, you went to Michigan, and coaches leave, change.
Yeah. And I wasn't, again, like,
you weren't a star.
I wasn't like, even though I was a captain, it's not like people are going to know my name. So I need to call to say, hey, this is me. This is what I was a part of, can I also did radio for 4 years after. So I was like still on the team for 4 years. So I had great relationships with everyone there. But since I stopped doing radio, I don't really know as many people.
So what advice would you have for aspiring college athletes?
Man, I don't even know, with all this NIL stuff and deals and endorsements. So just a much different ball game.
Yeah, other than get paid as much as you can.
So I don't even know what the advice would be today, just because the landscape is so different. I think one thing that is just critical is there will be a moment in which you have to stop playing. And so for some, that's earlier than others. Some are able to transition it into a career, play overseas. But I say that just to say, don't take it for granted. Like, there's going to be a point in your life where you will never be able to put on another jersey unless you're going to be sitting in the stands. And so um, it goes by fast. And, once it's over, it's over. And so on a daily basis, you got to make sure that, you are, when you're done, you do not have regrets and you are able to live with the production and the work ethic and the opportunity that you were given.
That's awesome. So now I'm curious. You say you're a former athlete. When did you give up the ghost? When did you say I'm no longer an athlete?
The day we lost to Oklahoma in the second round of the NCAA tournament.
You're done. No more rec league. No more pickup games.
I played a little bit. It's been, man, that was 09. It's 14. It's 14 years. I've maybe played basketball in the last 14 years 50 times.
Wow.
Maybe.
You gave
like a few times. I can't tell you the last time. Okay. It's been at least 3 years probably since the last time I've actively played a basketball game.
Okay. So how do you stay in shape now?
I don't eat much. I look way more in shape than I actually am.
Oh, that is an awesome answer right there, ladies and gentlemen. He does not eat much.
I don't eat much. So I don't know how healthy. I'm probably not very healthy. Okay. I just look slim.
Okay. Well, yeah. I would, you can have all of this. I would take your unhealthy slimness over this any day. So you founded a nonprofit organization after your college years called David Merritt. Can you tell us about the mission and vision of your organization?
Yeah, so it's actually two organizations. We have a for-profit side of what we do in a nonprofit. So the whole concept is to help young people in the city of Detroit aspire, believe, and contribute. We use fashion as a way to do that on the for-profit side. We donate 20% of our company profits to fund our nonprofit work. Also, the brand that we have acts as a backdrop for what the students are learning on the nonprofit side. And then for the last 11 years, we've run a program in the city called FATE, which is an 8-year cohort-based model where we take 9th grade high school students and follow them through not only their high school graduation, but also hopefully their college graduation. The program is heavily steeped in entrepreneurship and marketing as you're working on the brand as you go through high school. And then our students that maintain certain standards that we have are eligible to receive up to $8,000 in college scholarships if they complete the 4-year portion and get to any sort of post-secondary program. So this year, we have about 175 Detroit students that we're working with. And then this next year in the fall, we'll be at capacity where we have 9th basically through 21 to 22-year-olds.
Okay. So what is the inspiration behind the designs of your fashion brand, or how do you?
Yeah, I mean I think one of the areas that we're trying to kind of fill is a lot of times when you have products that are supposedly doing good, the actual design element or the quality kind of takes a hit, and it becomes more so about the cause, and we want to do the cause very well. We are impacting and working with the young people on a daily basis. And we're talking about, long-term commitments and relationships that are being built. But at the same point in time, we want to do fashion really well, and we want to, do design well. And so that's sort of the inspiration is, having products that are high quality, design well, have amazing comfort, but also you do have the impact that's happening through the brand. And then at this point, we also want to become a workforce development sort of platform where young people are creating or really gaining the skills and confidence to know that they can create their own future. And so we have, 9th grade students that are, doing marketing and advertising campaigns. We have 10th grade students that are designing product collections. And so we want to consistently put them in situations where they are creating and putting their work right out in the world. And we're saying we value you right now where you are. You have creative ability. We're going to pay you for your work. And they have a lot of things that they can put on their college application and resume after the 4 years of our program.
Okay. And so, where can one find your clothing? Is it you have a brick and mortar shop, or is it all
Only on
online?
we're all direct to consumer online, merrittgoodness.com.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
That's awesome. So, you also own a coffee shop. How did
Mhm.
you get involved in that venture?
So, at the church, this is like, well, it had been a while, but our bookstore was like on its last leg. People weren't buying CDs and tapes anymore. And so we had this concept. We wanted to let's do something community based. We knew nothing about coffee, nothing about cafes. We were like, this would be a great cafe. We were fortunate to have a relationship with Zingerman's out of Ann Arbor. And so Zingerman's like taught us the deal. Like this is how you build a coffee shop. This is how you build a brand. And they taught us everything we needed to know. We turned our bookstore in the church into a cafe called the Narrowway Cafe. Came up with a concept, came up with a mission, took Zingerman's basically model for how they do their things, and opened up to the church, and people loved it. Loved the service, loved the products. And it really was just going to be like a church endeavor until we saw kind of the response that it got. And of course, our church services are only a few times a week. And so at one point we were like, this would be great to be able to serve people on a daily basis. And so we were fortunate to set up shop on the Livernois Avenue of Fashion, 7 Mile in Livernois, right next to Cuzzo's. We opened up that shop in 2017.
Bagley community.
Yep. 2017. We are temporarily closed at the moment, but hope to open up soon. Open back up soon.
Okay. That is awesome. So, you are an associate pastor at a church.
Mm-hmm.
You have a for-profit fashion brand, a nonprofit. You have a coffee shop. Anything else you got going on over there? I mean, you writing a book? You making a movie? Anything you want to tell
No,
our listeners
no,
about?
no books or
Family is
movies.
expanding.
Yeah.
You over here just living the dream.
Well, I live such a blessed life, and I say that just because I have an opportunity to serve people, and that takes different. Maybe it's a coffee shop, maybe it's fashion, maybe it's just ministry, but it's all ministry for me. So, the last 13 years, I haven't worked one day. When people say that, but like I literally haven't. Like I wake up in the morning and get to figure out how we do these things, and it's just a blessing to be able to work on these types of concepts. So it's fun.
I like the way you put that though. It's
Mm.
kind of innovative. You say in service because
Mm.
you can serve people in different
Yep.
ways. That I mean, coffee shop. No one would
Mm.
think that especially when you come in from a ministerial
Yeah.
perspective. I mean, no one would be like, "Hey, he's
Yeah.
serving God, doing
Yeah.
God's work through a
Yeah.
coffee
Yeah.
shop." I think that's really awesome. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
don't have a question behind
Yeah.
that, but I just think that I was struck by that
That's
concept.
kind of how we
Mm.
see it too. It's ministry, and so for the coffee shop, now what we sell is coffee, of course, but we talk about being in like the stress-free business, and like how can we, through our service, through our product, actually alleviate stress from someone's life. And so it kind of takes you from being just like product based to really people based. And when you're solving problems for people, again, that may take different forms and different solutions, but ultimately it ties you to the needs of people. And so as people's needs change, your business may change, your service may change, your products may change, really based on what people need. And so if we can do what we can to identify with people and what their needs are, you can hopefully meet them.
Mhm. So, with ministry being kind of the family business,
Mhm.
are you on track to eventually lead the church? Is that the plan or the aspiration?
Yeah, I mean, my dad is still killing it. He's 81, he'll be 82 in November. But we pretty much handle like the day to day
Okay.
as of now. And he's put this perfect plan in place where he started us out come up here and say this prayer, or, when we first started getting, like, just to make us comfortable, to make us, to make sure that the congregation was hearing another voice and would start to be comfortable hearing our voice. So we've kind of been in sort of a transition and a maturation process for the last 13 years. And so I think eventually when he's never going to stop. But when that time comes, yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. So something I'm curious about, you say, when you were an athlete, you said, you weren't necessarily a star. So do you think you experienced the same types of challenges athletes face? Because a lot of times you hear, or I'm even thinking, you hear about, athletes living certain lifestyles and being out there kind of ungodly lifestyles.
Yeah.
What kind of challenges were presented to you during those days?
Oh man, I was not a witness at that time.
Okay.
No. College was. We start the testimony after college. But no, I think yeah, it's interesting, and there's a lot that goes into it, of course. I wish I was more mature at that time frame of my life. But there's a lot that's thrown at you. As an athlete, you think you're all that, and then
people agree with you.
The system or the landscape also kind of feeds into to that, and that I think is what can create some issues for someone that's 18 or 19, especially if you now are throwing in. I don't see any problem with it, but I think the report is that Hunter went to Kansas for $2 million a year. Like, so now I'm 20 years old. Similar if I went to the NBA, but now college athletes are in a position to get cash like that.
Yeah.
So you got to have your head on your shoulders.
Yes, you do. And they say Hunter. I read an article where initially, like even way before, like a year ago, before he transferred, he was mad at Michigan because Michigan wouldn't let him show up for the commercials or his NIL stuff in the Michigan uniform. Yeah. And they're like, no, buddy, this is your name, image, and likeness. You go sell your name, image, and likeness, not Michigan's. We need a check too if you're going to show up in our uniform. And he didn't appreciate that. But I understand the university's position. I feel like, it's your name, image, and likeness. Go get the check. Yeah, and they can write too if they want our stuff.
Yeah. It's an interesting system. I think probably the greatest thing that could have been done is the NCAA, like, getting out in front of it and recognizing that there should be compensation, and let's really come up with a model that works. And so now you just have like a frenzy where people are doing whatever, which of course great for the athletes, but I think holistically a system, and I think things will start to be in place to because you do want to make sure that people are well compensated for what they bring to the table. And of course, for a multi-billion-dollar industry, money is there. But how do you do that in a way that, also takes into account, because you want to put people in a position to be successful.
So what about the value of the education? That's what, I guess personally, as someone who was not a scholarship athlete and someone who knows people who work 3 and 4 jobs to get that education and probably work just as hard as a scholarship athlete without all of the additional benefits. Yeah. Where's the value of the education playing there? Or are we just being honest now and saying it's not about the education?
Can it be about both?
It should be, but I'm not seeing. I hear athletes complaining that they're not getting paid and they're getting $70,000 educations for free. They getting tutors, they getting meals, they getting trips, they getting marketing promotions. And all of a sudden that has no value.
Yeah, I think, of course, I'm on both sides, right? Like, I think there's a medium, and it's not necessarily a pendulum swing to one side or the other. I think I wouldn't necessarily agree that the paying of the college education. Now, again, if there wasn't the business side of the sport that was also a part of the equation, okay, then the scholarship to the college education, we're good. But when you are putting me on commercials, when you are having this tournament that you're selling for multi-billion-dollar just television rights. So when it gets to the point where it becomes this marketing machine and this business machine, and then you want to come back to me and say, well, we're paying for your education. Great, awesome. But you're making money. So shouldn't I also, if I am a part of the product that is making all this money, shouldn't I see some of that as well beyond just, my schooling?
But what about the crew? What about the ladies on the crew team? They get scholarships and they don't generate money. I mean,
but now they
should we drop crew?
But now they have the opportunity to.
Yeah, now they have the opportunity.
Right.
And
so,
I mean, yeah.
So if you can, if the market is saying that you are deserving of likeness and image and branding, then you're now it's free for all, so to where the market is saying, like, this is what I think you're for this deal. This is what I think. So now it becomes a free market as opposed to.
No, I agree. Yeah. I don't have a problem with with student athletes getting paid for their NIL. I mean, if the local car dealership wants to pay you, or like I don't know the specific student's name, but I remember there was like a student athlete who was making a whole bunch of money off YouTube because he was a kicker or something doing kicks, and they want to take his scholarship away. Right. But like, dude, I make videos. People watch my videos. Yeah. I don't have a problem with that. I guess I have a problem with Hunter Dickinson having a scholarship, having an athlete, being on a team, and saying, "I'm not making enough money. I want to go play somewhere else."
Yeah, that's the part that now becomes is basically who's going to pay me the most money for my services.
Because he didn't go to Kentucky because they wouldn't guarantee the money,
which is a free capitalistic system that we enjoy, to where I can go to this job because they're willing to pay me this versus that job. So,
but see, now it's a job. See, that's not.
Well, when you have me up at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I am,
it's practice.
Isn't that a job? If I have to still go to school, still have to prepare for the same tests, still have to, travel and miss 3 days of school to play at this tournament, but I still gotta, you still want me to do well in school and all these things. Like, is that not a job?
It's a job, but okay, I get you.
I feel like it was a job. I was there often.
There. You did it for free.
I was there.
You tried out 3 times for that team.
Yeah.
And
I do
it
again in a heartbeat.
For free. So that
don't make it. That's just me. And I wasn't good enough to command. I'm sure if I was doing it today, I would have a very small amount of deals. Like, I would not be making money.
I doubt that. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all. Okay, we're gonna switch gears a little bit, and we're gonna go to our lightning round.
Okay.
This is where we ask our guests the same set of questions, just more about your experience in Detroit, what you love about the city, what you do around the city. And the first question is, what is your Coney order?
This is gonna sound like whack, but I don't like a lot of stuff on my Coney. I really just want a hot dog with mustard, so it's not even really considered a Coney. But I'm a very picky eater.
That's what you order when you go to a Coney. I mean, because you don't have to order a Coney Island.
No, that's what I would order.
You'd order a hot dog with mustard
and fries. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. What is your favorite Detroit sports team?
So, it's the Detroit Lions. Now, and this is just recent. We did a partnership with Jared Goff this past year. And I watched every single down of the Lions this past year.
Why would you do that to yourself?
We're excited about next year.
Okay.
We're really excited about next year. So I would say the Lions.
Can't wait to see how they lose next year.
It's been tough, though. It's been really tough for like the last decade.
It's hard
around here.
been a Lions fan for 40
I'm saying
years.
Detroit sports, period.
Yeah.
It's
Right
been
now
a
it's
tough
bad.
run.
You ever remember the April and the D commercials?
What
Back
was
when we
that?
used to have Fox Sports. I
Uh-uh.
mean, April and the D, it would be a big deal because, you know, the Pistons would be in the playoffs.
Right.
The Tigers were good. The Red Wings would be in the playoffs.
Yeah, not anymore.
Not anymore. It's nothing in the D right now. I mean, nothing in April right now. It's just awful. Who is your favorite Detroit athlete?
Of all time?
Yes. I mean, current or however you want to answer it.
Currently, Jared Goff, because I said we just did the partnership with him. So, that's my man.
I like Jared Goff. He embraced coming to Detroit.
That's my man.
Yes. I would love to meet him. He seems like a righteous dude.
Isaiah Thomas.
Okay. Isaiah Thomas. And your favorite Motown artist or Detroit musical artist, performer? You're not familiar with any Detroit musical performers?
Familiar.
Can't pick a favorite?
I only listen to like worship music at this point.
How many gospel people come out of Detroit?
Okay, it's Fred
Just
Hammond.
pick a Wayans. Okay.
Fred Hammond.
Winans. I'm sorry. I would say the Wayans. I'm doing the comedians. Fred Hampton. Oh, that's cool. Favorite place to go in the city?
Work.
That's the best answer yet. Okay. And the last question we have for you is, where can we find you?
Like social media wise?
Yeah.
Oh,
or wherever wherever you want to be found.
I'm not really on social media. But most of my marks are David Merritt 15. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
See, he keeps the number as a legacy.
Well, that's what I started with after, because I had to anything that I could grab, you know. So I was captain for quite some time. Yeah. But then after a while, it's like, come on now, you played 10 years ago. Like, who cares?
Right. People care, man. Hey, I know a bunch of U of M athletes getting paid, living off of that. Sales, marketing. Well, no, thank you for coming on, brother. I really appreciate you. We're proud of everything you're doing. Very fun conversation. We can take some of this offline. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. David Merritt, modern Renaissance man of faith, service, help. No longer an athlete, but knows the game. You know, we want to thank you all for watching. This is the Distinctly Detroit podcast. You can get us anywhere you get your pods. Please like, subscribe, and rate. And we will see you next time. Thank you. This has been the Distinctly Detroit podcast. This is a production of the University of Michigan Detroit Center. You can find us anywhere you get your pods. Please like, subscribe, and rate us. This podcast is executive produced by Marlon Franklin, edited by Aranza Stanton, and written by Shaylin Jones and Fyodor Ship III.